Hi everyone, welcome back to Box Delights. Today we're going to be playing PAX Pamir 2nd edition from Whirligig Games, designed by Cole Worley, and we're going to be playing the solo variant against an AI opponent called Wakan. I was lucky enough to be the designer for the solo game, and lucky because this is one of my highlights of the year, really. This is such a fantastic game. It's such a fantastic multiplayer game. You may recall that I did the solo rules for first edition. That was when it was published by Sierra Madre, and the opponent was called Sher Khan. And Cole Worley invited me to work on the second edition with him to come up with a new opponent. This time, no limits on what we could do with components. So I took the opportunity to develop a new opponent. And perhaps try and address some of the things that I wasn't wholly happy with when I did the first edition game. And one of the things that Cole did was, Cole and Drew with Whirligig Games, was kind of make this a luscious production. You know, they've really made the most of all the components and just made it the game they wanted it to be. I'm going to set the deck up in a moment, actually. So we'll just put those off to one side. This is going to be Wakan's AI deck. So I didn't need a great deal. I mean, I'm used to making variants where I don't get to add components. So this was a real luxury for me, actually, to be able to add an AI deck. It's very much inspired by the work of people like Uwe Eckert, who did Conflict of Heroes. In fact, I'm going to show you it, because if you've not seen it, this is a great game. This is a war game with a wonderful solo mode. And in this game, they got these command orders, and you kind of go, you know, you work your way down, and then you fall to a default action. It says execute mission orders. Right? So we've kind of got a similar thing here, where if none of the ifs and the buts quite satisfy what Wakan's trying to do, then she will just do a default, what's called a radicalize action. So I designed these solo rules, but Drew Worley kind of developed them. So things like the term radicalize, that was one of Drew's. The principle's the same. It's just basically purchase a card, play a card. That was my design, but they gave it a name and a specific action. And my rules were quite wordy, so they've kind of condensed it into their rule book, which is great. What it does mean, though, is that there are some minor changes, and I've got to remember those minor changes, because I don't want to just play my version of the game and get it all wrong. I've already taught you guys how to play the game, so I don't really need to do that again. Strangely, it's got quite a large footprint, this game, for what it is, so I might rearrange things. But the first thing you'll notice about this is the luscious production quality. It's really great, and it's such a pleasure to play with wonderful components. It's one of the things I love about board gaming, is enjoying those components. We're going to need quite a bit of space, because we're going to have a tableau. It's called your court. Every player has a court. Incidentally, you don't need to give Wakan a player board, but I always do, because it just makes it easier to count the cylinders. You can just glance up and look at this track and see how many cylinders are in play, and that's important. So we're not going to get hung up too much on the rules, but what I will do is just explain what's going on in the solo game. The other thing you might want to do, and what they recommend, is staining your tokens here. This is a token to show who rules each region. That's Punjab, there we go. The other thing is we've got the rupees, the coins that we use in the game. We're going to be using these. Okay, wonderful. Right, let's get the deck built. We place 2 event cards in the first deck, and then 1 in each of these other 4 decks. So we'll just shuffle the event cards alone to start things off. And then you take your full deck of cards, give that a good old shuffle, and place 7 in each of these decks. Then we're going to shuffle each of these decks individually, so you don't know where the dominance check, so this is that big red card, a bold red card, is going to be, and then stack those. There's 4 dominance checks in the game, and it's not uncommon in a multiplayer game for the game to end after the first dominance check. But in a solo game against Wakan, you may even get to the 3rd or 4th. And then 7 cards on the top. Alright, so that makes sure that we don't see an event or a dominance check. You might see an event because there's only 7 and we've got to fill 12 spots here. But you're not going to see a dominance check straight away. Okay, so we fill from left to right, top to bottom. Okay, there we go. And that's our market created. And a draw pile to the right. Each player takes 4 rupees, so that's me and Wakan. This is a game where you've got a closed economy, so that's all the money that's going to be in the game. Now, there are certain cards that will bring coins in and increase and expand that economy, but that can fluctuate as those cards come into a tableau and disappear from a tableau. Money comes and goes. And we're ready to go. First thing we need to do is determine our starting loyalty. We can be British, Russian or Afghan. And that determines the colour of patriots that we're going to place in our court, what prizes we can take. If you look, here's a card. The Bengal Native Infantry is pink. That means it's British. And this is a loyalty prize. If this card is defeated and placed over here as a prize, then this would be an Afghan one. All right, so I can only, if I'm Afghan, I can only take Afghan prizes and Afghan patriots. Okay, so I have to choose my starting loyalty. You can change loyalties throughout the game, but if you do so, you lose your patriots, prizes, and your gifts, which are these things here, which are worth more influence during the game. So looking at this, my Wakan doesn't have a loyalty. She's loyal to everyone. She's kind of this rogue influence, if you like. And that's one thing about Wakan. She's not like another player. A lot of people, I think, struggle thinking, why is she not making decisions like a human player would? A human player, to develop an AI that's as intelligent as a human player is going to take a computer, right? A supercomputer of some kind. It's a complicated business, so the AI rules have got to be simple and streamlined, and that does, by definition, mean she does take some strange decisions sometimes. But that's the point. What she is she's adding chaos, and she's presenting an opponent's tableau that you can place your spies on, that you can win prizes from, and allows you to hone your skills at playing Pax Pamir against a dummy opponent. Wakan has this radicalised action, which is purchase and play as one, which builds up her tableau as compensation for that lack of, deep intelligence, if you like. But Wakan's influence will fluctuate. Sometimes she'll have a big tableau, sometimes it'll all decimate and she'll rebuild. And it kind of alters the landscape and keeps you on your toes and lets you engage in the mechanisms of playing Pax Pamir solitaire. That was the intention. And I hope we've achieved that successfully. I'll let you be the judge. What I'm tending to do as we begin and deciding what our starting loyalty will be is I'm probably looking down this end. I mean, immediately the British jump out. There's a lot of Afghan prizes, so potentially I could go Afghan, and if he takes these cards I could steal them as prizes. I like cards like this with effects. Charismatic courtier, as this one says. You do not pay bribes when playing cards, which is always good. I know that Wakan's going to get a lot of control on the board. And also look at the actions that you want. So this one's got an assassinate action and a battle action, which are always good. I'm probably going to be thinking about putting out spies and tribes, and ideally political cards to increase my tableau size. And think about cards you don't want Wakan to take. There's a good chance that she takes cards in this position. At the start of the game, she's got enough rupees to come and target the more expensive cards. We've got a British prize here, more Afghan prizes, and there's not a great deal in the way of spies. Thinking the British might be a good choice, there's more options here. Although, now there's a leveraged here, which is good, that's Afghan. No, I'm going to go, I think this is too good to pass up, I'm going to go Afghan. And we'll see how this plays out. I can always change if I need to. If he takes this, I could change to British. Okay. Right, Wakan gets first turn, so let's just dive straight in. At the beginning, there's no cards in her court, so she's not got these actions to take. So move, we work from the top down. Move, no. Betray, no. Radicalize, yes. Then we look at the arrows. She's going to take the top 0 position card. Okay, so bottom arrow points top and the black arrow points 0. So she didn't spend any money, but she's got some fruit markets. First we look at the impact icons. So this places a road and changes the favoured suit to political. We're already there. So she's going to place a road in Kandahar. We're Afghan, so she's going to place a British road. Furthest to the left that we're not. And then working from left to right, she can't place a road from Kandahar to Kandahar, from Kandahar to Herat. So the road's going here. Great, we're off and running. This extra 1 economy here protects Wakan from the tax action and will protect 1 of her rupees. And now she's got access to the move action and the build action. She doesn't have anything to move, no armies and spies, and she rules no regions. She's got no tribes in a region, so she can't build anyway. So we're going to radicalize once more. We can't take top 0, so, and there's no cards to the left of it, so we just switch to the other row. So yeah, the bad news is he's taking the card we wanted. Barakzai Sadars, damn Wakan. And place it to the left. Looking at the impact icons, we're going to change things up, and it looks like Wakan's making things work in her favour. It's interesting, when I developed the AI, what I did was just did stuff and made decisions as I would as a player, and then coded them here on the card. And all this stuff, it just kind of works out sometimes, you know, and when it does, it just feels like she's doing human-like stuff. But there's no black magic involved. It's just the way it works. Sometimes there's decisions which are seemingly peculiar, like why is she taking a straw man action? You know, she might leave a card that's got your spies on it, for example, but then betray a card with her own spies on. Well, it's just because as a player that made sense when I wrote the card and when I wrote the logic, because sometimes the card with opponent's spies on is the cards you're trying to protect and fight over, you know. So even though you're sacrificing one of your own spies, it makes sense in the scheme of things. Anyway, you'll see how it plays out. Sometimes it feels dim what she does, sometimes it just feels like she's got some kind of sixth sense. We ignore the fact that this is a patriot as far as Wakan's concerned, because she's loyal to everybody, or you know, she has no loyalties, if you like. But let's go through the impact icons. This is a political card. So she's going to place a tribe in Kandahar. She's really going for Kandahar, which gives her control of Kandahar. And next, we've got a leveraged icon. So she's going to take 2 rupees from the bank. She's money rich for the moment. Now this becomes a target for me, because if I can get rid of this card and she has no rupees, that means she has to discard. Hopefully she won't strawman herself, but it can happen that she will destroy her tableau, because if you can't, you know, if you get rid of a card with a leveraged icon, you have to give up rupees, and if you can't give up rupees, you have to give up more cards. So this is a good target for me now. And then finally, she's going to change the political climate. So we're now economic. Right, Wakan's off to a good start. So she doesn't get to pay bribes when playing cards. So me controlling regions is not a way to. It's not a good way to force her to make her discard. If Wakan can't pay bribes, she just discards the card instead of paying it to a tableau. She's increased her tableau size now from her court size, I should say, from 3 to 4. Every extra star adds to that default 3. She's got the build action, which she can now take, but she's out of actions. and the move action. She's changed the climate to economic, which means we can now look at free actions. So you just work from left to right. Now this is the favoured suit, right? Economic, which means actions on this card become free. They're bonus actions. You can only use each card once, but what that means is now, right, so she can't take any free actions here, but she can take free actions on this card, this economic card. So got no armies to move, but she can now take a build in a place that she controls. The region she controls Kandahar, so she's actually going to take the build action now for free. And she's going to spend as much money as possible. So she's got 1, 2, 3, 4, she's got 6, she's going to spend all her money building stuff. So that money was short-lived. But she's doing great stuff for the British. So armies are going to get built. 1, 2, 3. Okay, 3 armies. She doesn't ever like building roads when she takes the build action. Her pragmatic loyalty is British. So 3 armies here in Kandahar. So the British are now dominant because they're 4 ahead of everyone else. Now, of course, if I'd chosen British as my loyalties, these would be green now. They'd be Afghan. But there we go. That's how it rolls. Okay, we've finished Wakam's turn. Another event, and then we've got Imperial Surveyors. Now for my turn, I'm actually going to do 2 purchases. I'm going to buy these 2. Keep hold of my money for them now. I might be thinking about switching loyalty to the British already, but I don't want her to get too far ahead, you see. Hand size is 2. So I'm just going to take those 2 cards. That's both my actions already. Wakam goes again. So you can see, although she's not as bright as me, one would hope, her radicalised action is pretty potent. Alright, so what's she going to do next? She's going to battle on the highest priority court card, but there's nowhere for her to battle really. With the most spies, yeah, so she's going to battle on my court where she's got spies. She's going to take the battle action and then radicalise again. She's got no money now, so we know she's targeting those 0-point cards. So is she going to grab from the top or bottom? She's going to grab from the top, which means she's going to be placing more tribes. Ouch. Yeah, I should have realised that really, that more tribes were coming out. Okay, this is Yar Muhammad Alikozai. Well connected, your spies may double the distance moved when using a move action. Wakam doesn't move spies, so we're okay there. In my rules she did, but it was a complicated rule, so that got streamlined away. This is going to the left. The tableau size is now 1, 2, 3, 6, so yeah, she's a potent force. Oh, Wakam. This is, if you wanted to get a lesson on how to do well, this is the thing. This is first turn. Wakam's building up ahead of steam. What we've got to do is manipulate the game. This is the point, and this is what we learn from playing the solo game. And this is what I like about this game is just trying to figure out how to work it, how to manipulate your opponents, how to manipulate Wakam. We've got 2 tribes going down, and the political climate's going to change. So man. So these are going in Herat. So she now controls Herat, and she's got a road between them. I say she's got a road between them. That's another thing you need to learn. These are not your armies. They're not your roads. The only things that are yours are these cylinders. The blocks are everybody's. They're just resources to be used and manipulated to your benefit. Right, so that's the radicalise action. Battle on the highest priority court card. She can't do that. We've not got a court. We haven't got anything to battle. So she's going to radicalise again. And with no money, it's going to be this one in Kandahar. So we're going to the left once more. So she's building. Another tribe. Wow, we're going to be doing really badly. You'll notice that the number of tribes she places is equal to the stars. Okay, so this was a 2 stars. She placed 2 tribes. Interesting. Now she's placing another army. This time though, remember we're loyal to Afghan, so now she's going to place a Russian army. That just happens to be. Remember, she's not British, she's not Afghan, she's not Russian. It's just what she's doing. So no longer do the British have dominance. So if we do want to switch to British, we're going to have to put some more blocks out. The favoured suit now is political. So these are all free actions for Wakhan. She could build, but she's got no money. She can tax. Yep, she's going to tax. This is the tax action. But she can't tax us because we've got no court card. So she's going to tax the market. The acting card's rank is 1, so she's going to tax for 1. She's going to take coins from the leftmost spots, just making them inaccessible to you really. So it could be this one or this one. Which one will she take? We look at the AI card to break ties. It says the red's pointing to top, so she's going to tax this card here, the Army of Indus. Now she's got rupees. Remember, she can only take 3 actions on each card once. Betray. She's not going to do, I was calling it assassinate. Betray is the correct term. She can't do build, she can't do because she needs 2 rupees, she's only got 1. Alright, so there you go, that's her bonus actions done, back to us. Finally we can do something. And yes, I'm going to play the Bengal native infantry in the Punjab, which is not controlled by anybody, because I do want to switch loyalty to the British. So let's play this. We're now British. And we get to place, notice this pink army. Okay, we are native to the British, we are placing pink armies. Okay? And we're going to switch the climate to intelligence, or the favoured suit rather. So now we do have dominance for the British once more. So an army in the Punjab. We could take the battle action, but I'm going to play my second card, which is Harry Flashman, which gives me access to the gift action and the betray action, and lets me place a spy on my court. And I'm going to go, where do I want it to go? I don't think it matters at the moment. So I get to place a spy. It can be on any card, on any court that matches the card with the region we just played, Punjab. So here or here. I'm going to place it here. Spies protect your cards and the actions on them. If another player has more spies than you do, they've kind of taken that card hostage, and you can't use the actions there unless you pay a bribe to the player holding the card hostage. Okay, so we're going to need money to use as actions. So this spy kind of helps protect it, but it also means we can move it around, and moving it around means we can potentially then betray opponents' cards and get rid of some of their cards, which is what I'm tempted to do. We don't have access to a move action yet, so that's what I do want to do. But anyway, as it goes, we've used our second action, but because the climate is now intelligence, that's the favoured suit, we can use Harry. So we could take a gift or a betray. So why don't we just pay 2 and get a gift out? The point of this is to get cylinders out, because now cylinders are influenced. I was kind of keen to save my money, but 2 rupees is good. Alright, that's our bonus action done. Back to Wakhan. At this point, I just want to make a quick note about ruling a region. Consider Kandahar here. So we know we gave Wakhan the ruler token. You've got to have at least one tribe. Wakhan does. She has 2 tribes here. And a plurality of ruling pieces. Those are tribes and armies. Armies to which you're loyal. Now Wakhan is not loyal to any coalition. So in my original rules I just said count the pieces that are most numerous. So that would be 2 plus 3, 5 for Wakhan. We would need 2 to remove that and an extra to take it away if we were loyal to the British, right, which we are. What Whirligigs games have said is use the pragmatic loyalty to determine which armies to include in this. And that would mean if Wakhan is now has a pragmatic loyalty of Afghan, they no longer have control because they've only got 2 tribes and there's more British armies than what they're loyal to, Afghan armies. Alright, remember, armies belonging to enemy coalitions can prevent you taking a ruler token even if there are no enemy tribes. Well, I find this a little bit back and forth, you know, because Wakhan's pragmatic loyalty is flipping. So I'm not completely satisfied with that rule. As far as I can see, Wakhan is loyal to the British, the Afghans, and the Russians. So just count the number of tribes. That's the way I intended it. Okay, so Wakhan rules here by virtue of having the most tribes. So 3 tribes in here, or 2 tribes in here, would stop it being loyal because we're loyal to the British. Now I'm a little bit torn. Do I play it the way I intended, or do I play it the way the guys wrote it in the rulebook? I'll let you decide how you want to play it. Okay, call it a house rule if you want. For me, personally, I prefer the way I intended it. That's the way I'm going to do it because I feel it's stronger, and it means you're not having to keep, you know, flipping the ruler token in and out. So there you go. That's my take on it. And what's going to come out? Oh, we've got the first dominance check in the market. Now, Wakhan can't access it, but she is focused on it. She's conscious of it, and that could potentially alter her actions. Let's talk about that next time.